Well, it is Saturday, February 28th, last day of the month, and I came out here this morning with every intention of putting one more coat on this door here, letting it dry and putting it up into place. Instead, I came out and this entire door was wet. It had it's on a little bit of an angle tilting down like this, and all of these like raised panel areas were filled with water, and the second coat of paint that I had put on, that beautiful coat of paint that I was astonished how well it came out, was running all down the door. It was just totally destroyed. In fact, there were some areas that had completely washed away that second coat of paint, and you could see some of the red that this door was originally before I started to paint it. And for the life of me, I have no idea how that happened. It certainly wasn't condensation. There's way too much water on this door for it to be condensation. And when I left, or when I put my tools away and went in the house at the end of the day, Friday, the sun was shining and there was no forecast for any rain. So I don't know where all that water came from, except for we must have had a freak rainstorm that was driving water this way and everything was wet. The sand was a little wet, but not like you would think. If we had a big storm, you'd see like a whole big band of wet sand. I mean, it's a little wet here, but nothing like what it would be if we had a driving rainstorm and it just flooded that door. In any case, I hosed it down. I wiped it off. I got all the old watery paint off of there, dried it down, and then just cleaned it off as best I could. And I put a second coat and now a third coat on there. So if this dries well, the sun is shining. I'm hoping it's going to dry well. That should be it. I should be able to just put the door sweep on the bottom and hang it tomorrow. But because, it got destroyed last night, I had to do two coats of paint, and this coat is just about an hour old. It looks pretty good. Again, I can't complain. I mean, again, it's a pretty nice paint job. I mean, I'm no expert, but I'm happy with it. Anyway, so that's the story with the door. In the meantime, I was able to get the trim around the door. I did paint the inner trim, the frame of the door one more time, and then I put the trim up around the door, caulked it and screwed it, so that's in place permanently. And I got the trim on the opening for the air conditioner as well. So that is also caulked and screwed in permanently. And I did put in the little piece of plexiglass that I had cut for that opening. So that fits like nearly perfectly in there. And I just have a little shim in there holding it in place. So if we had a strong wind blowing this way, it wouldn't blow out. It would stay in there for sure. So I guess that's about it. I did do some cleanup here. I had a whole bunch of boards stacked up against the end of the porch here. So I broomed them off with a brush and got them as clean as possible and stuck them into the little shed here. And then this pile of wood here, since we had rain yesterday and may have had it last night again, I figured it would be a good day to just burn a lot of this extra wood that was laying around here, because the grass wouldn't be dry at all. So it would be very safe to burn that. So I've got all those boxes and wood that's all been taken away and burned in the fire pit. So that's it for Saturday. I think it's a pretty good day. I just wish I had been able to get that door on, but fingers crossed I'll be able to do it tomorrow. All right, talk to you tomorrow. All right, it is Monday, March 2nd, and let's check out what's been going on with the office conversion project. Come around here. I'll give you a long distance shot at first. All right, flipping it around. All right, so there we go. I did get the door in. I actually did it Friday night. I didn't want what happened on Thursday night to happen again. And I felt it with my hand. It was pretty dry enough to pick up. So I picked it up and I put it on. And I think it looks pretty good. Paint job came out well, second time around. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. All right, let's take a look at a few other things. I did get the gooseneck light installed. It's not functional yet. I still have to hook it up through the electrical system, but the wires are actually going into the box on the other side of the wall there. And I did caulk all around the door and also around the window opening trim here. It's all been caulked all the way around, so we are basically sealed all the way around in this little room. So that's good. It's basically weather tight at the moment. So let's take a look inside. I did get the door sweep on the bottom. That fit pretty well after I cut it down. And if you're standing on the inside of the room, there's no light coming in from the outside. So it looks like it's a pretty good seal. And I also got the deadbolt and the handle put back on the door. I'm not particularly happy about the old crappy paint that's on there. I may take them off and repaint them at some point. That wouldn't take too much effort, but I wanted to get something on there just to seal up those holes. I mean, I could have stuffed, originally I had some rags stuffed in there, but it just made it hard to open and close the door. So I put these on there, and yeah, I'll do something. Either I'll rekey the whole door, or I'll just take these off again and clean them up and then put them back on. All right, let's go inside. Not a whole lot of light going on in here, but I've got half the floor painted. Up from here to here is 2 coats, and then from here to here is 1 coat. So later today I'll get the second coat on this band here across the room, and then when this dries I'll move all my tools and stuff over to the other side, and then I can start painting over here and all over in this other corner. One other thing I did do is I cleaned off all of the foam that was squeezing out between the studs here when I was insulating that corner with spray foam. So that's all ready to go for drywall. There's also some spots along the top here that I had to cut off to fit for drywall. Same thing on this side. Wasn't a whole lot down here, but over here there was definitely some bubbles that had come down below the ceiling. So I cut all that off, ready for drywall. And then also there was a lot of foam popping out of these 2 studs. So that's all been cut off and cleaned away. So I'm ready for drywall in here on those studs. In fact, pretty much the whole room other than insulating. So I think that's pretty much what I've gotten done. Oh, there's one more thing. The piece that's going to go vertically here, just to lock this piece of aluminum down. I'm working on it right there. I just got to get it painted 1 more coat, and then I can put that up, put some caulk behind this, and then get this on here. Alrighty, it is Wednesday, March 4th. Been doing a lot of painting today. Got some trim up, got some railings up, so making some good progress, something you can actually see. So let me flip the camera around and I'll show you what's going on. All right, there you go. Obviously you can see the painting. I painted the railings and the posts on the porch there, the Irish paddock. I gave it a quick coat of paint because I wanted to see how it looked. I'm not sure yet. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. Thinking the other possibility would be the darker tree line green, or a combination where the posts are the tree line green and the horizontals are the Irish paddock. We'll see. I'm just going to look at it for a day or two and see how it settles in. Now, down at the bottom there, where it's all black here and here, that's all going to be the darker tree line green. And so it'll be tree line green all down here, and then you'll get the contrast with the Irish paddock lighter green. And the planks on the deck will also be the darker tree line green, as of right now. Anyway, so I moved this horizontal row. It was way down here for some reason, so I moved it up, and I put another one over here on the end because it just wasn't there and it looked like it really needed it, and then another one up here, and then also a cap piece on there on the top. So that kind of completes the porch in terms of posts and beams, and I just got to think about the color. That's all right, but yeah, I think it could be okay. All right, let's go inside. Oh, before I go inside, I did get this piece of trim along the side here next to the door that seals up that piece of aluminum that wraps around the side here and just was flapping in the breeze here. So that's caulked and screwed into place permanently, and I think you can hardly even see it, to be honest with you. So that's a good thing. And then, up here also, sorry, can't even get to the inside. I did repaint this up here, and I painted all along the rafters, that last rafter, and up underneath the eave there. So I am good to go to put these pieces of trim along the end of the eave here. And that'll just trim it out with this Spanish tile red. All right, and the other thing that has been worked on is in here. I've been painting. Sorry, there's not much light in here right now. It's getting close to the end of the day. But this whole floor, except for this area right by the door here, has been painted with 2 coats of the tree line green. I'm not sure if it's the greatest color for in here. It's dark. It only makes things darker in here. But it's what I had the most paint of. I'm probably going to need some more of it soon. And I also started caulking around the floor here. When this dries, I'll finish the caulk all the way around the room. And I think that's about it. That was enough for one day. And hopefully we'll see some more changes coming up tomorrow and Friday. Talk to you later. Alrighty, Thursday, February 5th, late in the afternoon, end of day, and mostly been a painting day. Just my favorite thing to do. But I think I'm maybe getting close to the end. So let me flip the camera around. I'll show you what's going on with the office conversion. Here we go. All right, so I did get the 2 trim pieces on the gable end there. They fit really pretty nicely, although they're not quite flush with that last rafter on the gable end, probably because on the ends here, that last rafter on the end is sticking out just like 1/4 of an inch. So I'll probably have to just caulk it all along the ridge and underneath between the trim and that last rafter. No big deal. That won't take but 10 minutes or so to get that done, and that'll be good to go, all done. And then on the end here, I have been removing all of the horizontal boards on here one at a time or two at a time, and making sure they have a full 3 coats of paint on them. So this is done, that's done, that's done, the top board is done. And while they're off, where they mounted to these verticals, like up here, right at the top there, I make sure that that's completely painted as well before they go back on. So at this point, I only have 2 more left to do. And actually, they've got a coat of paint on them already. So they got 2 more coats of paint to go, and then I can put them back on. And mostly I'd say the porch is done. I still have to paint these boards along the vertical part of the, or horizontal part of the porch here in the tree line green. And then I got to do something with the steps here. These steps will be also the tree line green, and I got to get to these verticals as well. So more painting to do. Let me back off just a little bit. Yeah, there's a full shot, but getting there. And then also inside, I did get the rest of the floor painted. So it is done 100%. This area here is still a little wet with the second coat, but it should be dry by tomorrow noon or so. But that completes the floor painting. Only 2 coats. I don't think I'm going to do a third, at least not right now. I think it's good enough for the moment. And I thought I had caulked all around this opening here for the air conditioner, but I guess I hadn't. I looked closely. All I had done was cover the screws with a little bit of the clear caulk. So I went around and I did caulking all around that opening with the trim there. So that's about it for today. Not the most productive day, but you know, things definitely got done. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get the rest of the rough electrical done, because I do have the wire for that. And then also I'll get another coat or 2 of paint on these and get them back up. And I don't know, maybe I'll do some painting down here. Clean that off and just do this one section with the tree line green and see what it looks like. But I'm running out of tree line green, so I'm probably going to have to go into town on Saturday or Sunday and get another gallon of it, because that's something I really use quite commonly. It's all the posts out here, like the Starling Tower and the Vineyard post. They're all the tree line green, so I'm going to need that for a lot of different things. So I'll get another full gallon of it. That should last me for quite some time. But I'm pretty happy with the progress. So we're doing good. All right, I'll talk to you on Friday and we'll wrap up the week. All right, it is Friday, March 6th, end of the week. Time to wrap up the week here on the office conversion. It's been another mostly painting and caulking day. Lovely. Certainly not my favorite, but we're making progress. So let's flip this around, see what's going on. All right, so I thought I had removed this horizontal beam here and painted underneath the post there, but I didn't. So I did that today. That's been removed. Got 3 coats of paint. All of these are now painted with 3 coats of paint and put back into place. So we're all good to go there. And I put 1 coat of the tree line green along the bottom here just to see what it would look like. And I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm going to go with that. At some point I will dig out the sand along the bottom to get lower with the green and then push sand back up so we don't have that white bar at the bottom. But yeah, and I need more tree line green. So yeah, because I'm going to have to do on the sides around here and there, and also on the other side. So I don't have enough to do that right now, so I'll have to go into town tomorrow or Sunday, get another gallon of the tree line green, and then I can finish that up. And I did caulk all along the top and underneath. Sorry, it's not focusing with my finger there. Underneath these end trim for the ridge line of the eave there. That was a little more difficult than I had anticipated. There's some nooks and crannies that were hard to get into, but I did get it mostly caulked. Up at the very top, you see there's still a gap up there. It's just too big for one go at caulk, so I'm going to let what I did dry for about 3 days, and then I'll come back and slowly start to fill it in with some more caulk. And you know, because it's just, you can't put too much caulk in at one time, it just won't dry properly. So that's what I'm going to do there. And also, well, I got a couple of these posts painted, at least 2 coats, I think. So they're looking pretty good. They got I did caulk some of the cracks in these posts here just to see what that would do, because they were looking pretty bad. And I painted this, the railing, the steel railing here, the same as the trim up the top, just kind of match that angle going up. And you know, obviously I still have all these treads and the boards on the surface of the porch to do. They're going to be the tree line green once I get another can of it, yeah, kind of like here. And then also I did get the rest of the rough wiring done. So we got from light to light all the way back over to the switch down here, and from the switch up to light, and then over to other light. And that completes the rough wiring in here, so I can start putting in outlets and switches well, anytime I like. I have all the hardware for that, so I'll probably be maybe working on that tomorrow, getting that done. I really would like to get that done, because then I can plug in things in here rather than relying on an extension cord I have coming from the other porch. And I also got this clear plexiglass put into place. I put this small piece along the bottom that's like a temporary piece that can be removed when the air conditioner goes in. There's just 2 screws holding it in place, screwing it down. And then I drilled some holes in the plexiglass, and now they're holding that tightly to that frame. I was thinking about putting some weather stripping around there just to seal it up a little bit more, but honestly, I don't think it really needs it. I mean, it's pretty tight all around there. So those 6 screws are really holding it well in place and tight to that frame. I don't think anything's getting through there. So it is removable easily by just unscrewing those little stainless steel screws, and then unscrewing this bottom piece, and then I can put an air conditioner right in this opening here, and you know, just store the plexiglass and the screws for the times when I'm not using the air conditioner. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for the week. Like I said, I got some other things to do, like the electrical, and a few other tasks on my list to do. Some more painting down here at the bottom. So we're getting pretty close to doing insulating and drywalling in this little conversion. And then that'll really kind of complete the project. So, all right, well, that wraps it up for this week, and we're going to continue next week. Talk to you later. Bye.